2025 was definitely a quantum leap year where my purpose met my passion. And today I'm here to pass the baton because 2026 is going to be your glow up year. Yeah, I said it. So, how do you start your glow up year, aka 2026, off right? Today we're talking about visioning into the new year. And the best, fastest, easiest way to do that is through a vision board. If you are really committed and you really want to start 2026 off right, you gotta Welcome back to The Glow Up Year. I'm Meg, actress, model, and mindset coach for actors. Think of me as your behind-the-scenes bestie for chasing dreams, surviving plot twists, and building something big. Here, we talk about it all. Auditions, photo shoots, mindset shifts, script prep, and the career curveballs that nobody prepares you for. I'll share the highs and the hard lessons in real time because growing in this industry isn't always pretty, but it's always worth it. If you're ready to ditch self-sabotage, step into your confidence, and build the career and mindset you've been dreaming of, grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in. Hey guys! Welcome to the first episode of 2026. Today, we're going to talk about how we effectively vision into the new year, into 2026. We're also going to do a little bit of reflecting on 2025 as well. So let's jump in. Let's get started. So let's talk about 2025. 2025 was this huge quantum leap for me. I booked, I updated my marketing materials, I created more than I consumed. I took a step back from hustle culture and started finding ways to regulate and relax in my career, in my life. And I started coaching you incredible people. 2025 was definitely a quantum leap year where my purpose met my passion and everything started to really feel like it was coming together. And today I'm here to pass the baton because 2026 is going to be your glow up year. Yeah, I said it. I know it. I feel it. You know it. You feel it. Let's make it happen together. So how do you start your glow up year, aka 2026, off right? Today we're talking about visioning into the new year, and the best, fastest, easiest way to do that is through a vision board. Let's talk about the brilliance behind a vision board. A vision board gives you the opportunity to sit down and think through what you want to happen next year. What results do you want to create? It also gives you time to reflect on this year. What happened this year? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you want to change, create some new results, make some headway on this side of your life, and maybe take a step back on this side? It really gives you the opportunity to create a vision of what you want your next future year to look like. So how do you actually create a vision board? So you can do this digitally, you can do this physically. Last year, I found pictures on the internet, I printed them off, I pasted them onto a piece of paper, which was actually inside my planner, and I called it a day. And last year, I also picked areas of my life. I want this to happen here, I want this to happen here, I want this to happen here, I want this to happen here. Well, this year, I was kind of craving a different experience out of my vision boards. It's something I look forward to every January. And I decided this year that I was going to design it digitally on Canva. And while I am not sponsored by Canva, although I wish I was, Canva, come find me. I'd like a brand deal. I love Canva. Honestly, I do most of my design there. So it kind of felt like a no-brainer this year to create my vision board within Canva. And now a pro tip here. You always want to keep everything in the present tense and make sure you're not including any lack on your vision board. So for example, you wouldn't want to write or use photos that promote lack on your vision board. So if you have some debt and you want to pay it off, instead you might put a photo of a credit card with a caption that says paid in full or PIF. Essentially, what you wouldn't want to do in this situation is put debt on your vision board or anything that comes up and feels lacking in your gut. This keeps you from manifesting things in the future that you don't actually want. And I want to show you the difference between my vision board last year and this year. So this was my vision board last year. It's pretty bare, but it is specific and it is clear. I put specific amounts of cash that I wanted to manifest on there. I even went in last year, I didn't have a lot of results, let me say. So like, for example, I didn't have a lot of modeling photos or anything. So I went on and I used AI, which I probably, like, looking back, I was like, this is kind of creepy. I put my face into AI and made myself in like multiple areas, as you can see here, so that I could manifest booking more and more work, which I think was logical at the time. And I didn't choose to do that this year. I put photographers on there, put programs that I wanted to do, things I wanted to accomplish in my business, things that I just wanted for me. And out of my 2 pages of my vision board last year, these are all the things I accomplished. Here's page 1 and here's page 2. That's fantastic results, right? And that's the power of a vision board, planning ahead to what you want to achieve. And so after showing you last year's vision board, this is this year's vision board. Totally different, right? And I know I expanded, now I have 4 pages. But I have a page for my business. I want to accomplish some guest speaking this year. I want to go back and maybe visit my college and do a guest speaking talk. I'm planning on building my podcast studio this year and pitching myself to other podcasts. And I also want to build my following a little bit more and build my podcast following and start an actual website for my business. And as you'll notice, I included these hands gesture as receiving because my word of the year this year is to receive. I want to learn how to receive, get better at receiving. And then here's my vision board for my modeling. Meg Salisbury Creative is my business. It's my brand. I've added some photographers on there I worked with last year, some photographers I want to work with this year, some programs I want to invest in. I want to go back to Coco Rocha Camp, get some alumni photos taken, and really invest in my relationships with my agencies and photographers and other creatives. And I really want to expand my photos this year. Most of these photos, I would say 90% of the photos that are on this board actually came from photos that I created this year, which is interesting looking back at my old vision board where I use the AI to show myself in multiple places. It's very cool that this year I kind of did that in a different way, but with actual physical photos of me. And I did this year because I want to continue to grow my portfolio, continue to grow as an artist. And so I wanted to put photos from this year that I put on as a goal of manifesting more of that exact thing. And I also put a little magical wand in my hand right here in the middle because I want to have this connection with the universe where I feel like I wave my magic wand and it happens. This is my acting vision board. I put 2x, 3x, 5x, 7x on all the jobs I booked this year. I put a selfie of each of the jobs that I booked. I want to do some recording in a recording booth, whether that's with voice acting or singing. And I just want to be on set more. I want to walk my first red carpet this year. And I want to have a better connection with myself and my inner child and play and fun. And so photoshopped her on here with me walking through set as an adult, just getting to expand and grow together. Finishing off, here's my personal vision board for the year. I have me and my husband going on vacation to Italy. We want to buy our houses on here. I want to go to a fancy restaurant with my husband. That's on here. I want to heal my gut, really expand my connection with my body, feed myself nutritious foods, take care of myself, rest and relax. And a big vision I had for this year is wanting to start speaking to my food, speaking to my water, speaking to my body in a better way to help myself continue to grow and continue to work on my self-care and my self-worth. So that's a taste of what my vision boards were this year. I show you these as an example of what the variety of possibilities you can have when you're building your own vision board. And you can do this however you like, but at the end of the day, I usually start off my visioning by making a list of things that I want to achieve in the upcoming year. And then I find the images from there, and then that sparks some thought about something else I want to achieve or some other vision I have, and then a new thing goes on, and it becomes this whole creative process. And this year I spent 3 full days visioning. I started the board, and then I'd come back to it, and then I wanted to sit a little bit more in thought, and then I'd come back to it. And in the spirit of being vulnerable and open and letting you guys know where I am on my journey, here were my initial core personal goals for 2026. And I'm going to read them all to you in the present tense like I've already received them, because we're always manifesting 24/7, baby. Here we go. I have a better relationship to myself, one where I feel like I trust myself to take care of myself. I have a home where I can express who I am within every wall and put my head to rest at night, where I know I'm settled and I am home. I have a career where I feel fulfilled by the work I do, where I feel like I make a difference in hundreds of people's lives. Rest and relaxation come more naturally to me, and I feel like I understand the balance between work and rest. I have a body that feels supported and nourished even in seasons of strife. I have a strong connection to my inner child, one where I get to prove to her over and over that I have her back, but that we also get to have fun together. I have a tribe of successful-minded women who know more than me, and I can get a deeper relationship with understanding of like self-care and business. I have a stronger connection to the universe and a deeper trust and understanding of the bigger vision and the bigger picture of life. And I have a strong connection with receiving, and I'm open and excited to receive. So how do you make the most effective vision board for 2026, aka your glow up year? We have some listener questions today, and I think we're going to answer it all in these 3 questions. And thank you to Eliana for submitting these. And also, by the way, if you want to ask a question on the podcast, keep an eye on my Instagram stories, because I always ask before I record if anybody has any questions, and that's your opportunity to get a question on the podcast. So our first listener question is, do you think a physical or a digital vision board is the most effective? Here's my thoughts. Vision boards are not one size fits all, meaning they're bio-individual. So what works best for you might not work best for me. And with that being said, here's how to tell if a physical or a digital vision board is best for you. The most important aspect of a vision board is being able to see it as often as possible. So if you're going to design your vision board to fit all in one page, maybe you want to build it digitally so you can keep it on your lock screen of your phone so you always have access to see it. Or if you're like me and you have multiple vision boards, this might not work best for you, and you might prefer to have it up on your wall or in your bathroom, somewhere where you're going to see it every day. And maybe you're kinesthetic, which means you learn through doing. Maybe that means that you actually want to physically cut stuff out and paste it to a page. Maybe that's better for you than actually digitally designing it, because you feel more in your body as you're doing it. All of these options are options for you. And you could do both. You could do multiple. Have it on your lock screen and also have it up on your wall. All you have to do is close your eyes and ask yourself, what's going to be the most effective for me? Do I prefer physical, digital, or both? And do that thing. Our next listener question is, how do you create a vision board that you can actually follow and obtain? This is a fantastic question. Let's get into it. So we want to set achievable goals while also being a bit expansive or delulu without being completely delusional. Let me give you an example. In last year's vision board, I put highest paid actor in the world. Crickets, anybody? That's not something that I'm going to be able to accomplish in a year. And don't get me wrong here. I don't think it's a bad idea to have a long-term goal on your vision board. But if you have a vision board that reflects 10 years into the future, how is it possible for you to even follow or obtain those things now? There's so many steps ahead of where you're at. So if you focus on putting small things that you can achieve this year that strengthen that big 10-year picture, then you're going to be golden. You'll be able to focus, you'll be able to obtain this year, and you'll have some quick wins. And another reason why keeping smaller, more achievable goals on your vision board is a great idea is because your nervous system might not be regulated to be able to withstand the pressure of your 10-year goal. So by focusing on smaller steps, we can slowly acclimate your nervous system to want bigger and better and more expansive goals. And also make sure that you're including thoughts and feelings with the photographs that you're choosing, or even choose to write thoughts or feelings on your vision board. And the last listener question that I have today is, how do I keep the momentum I feel towards my goal in the new year throughout the year? And before we get into that question, let's talk about this. What is the difference between motivation and momentum? I think there's a lot of confusion or misunderstanding between these concepts, so let's talk about that real quick. Motivation is that like internal spark, that internal desire that gets you started, but motivation is a limited resource, meaning we don't always have access to it or we could run out of it. While momentum is the engine of the car, it's like the action that keeps you moving forward, even when that motivation fails. And it's going to. I'm sure that we can all relate to wanting or desiring something, but we not having the motivation to try or to do it. So the real question here is, how do you develop momentum, right? Momentum is created through consistent, small actions that become easier over time. So now that we've touched on the difference between momentum and motivation, let's go back to the meat of this question. How do I keep the momentum I feel towards my goal in the new year throughout the year? And I feel like the crux of this question is kind of the aftermath of creating your vision board. It's not in the here and now. It's kind of like, I've completed my vision board. How do I make it happen now? How do I keep the momentum building? So once you've completed your vision board, what you're going to do is you're going to pick 2 or 3 of those goals on that vision board to try to accomplish in quarter 1, 4 quarters in the year, right? And you're going to break those 2 or 3 goals down into micro actions or bite-sized little steps so that you can start to achieve. And when I say micro, I actually mean micro. So let me give you an example here. If the goal is to get updated headshots in quarter 1, maybe that's one of your goals. A micro action would be research photographers. Another micro action would be email a photographer. Another action would be settle on a date. Another action would be find a hair and makeup artist. The next action would be prep the night before for my photo shoot. These should be tiny, tiny little micro actions that you can easily achieve quickly so that you're not stuck between here and goal. And what you're going to do is take those little micro actions, right? However many you have to your goal, and you're going to set reminders in your phone. Or you're going to find an accountability buddy so that you're going to create little deadlines for each of your micro actions until you have completed those goals. And the process of taking that little bit of action every day or every couple of days is what is going to build the momentum. And so say we've gone through the entire quarter, right? We've either accomplished our 2 or 3 goals or we haven't. What you're going to do at the end of the quarter is you're going to reflect on what worked. You're going to reflect on what didn't work. You're going to reflect on what you learned. You're going to reflect on what you need to change to continue to work towards that person that you want to be on your vision board. And then lastly, you're going to pick your next 2 to 3 goals for the next quarter, or continue to focus on the 1 or 2 that you haven't accomplished yet. And then the last most important part of continuing momentum, of keeping momentum going throughout the year, is celebrating. And it sounds so simple and it almost sounds dumb too. I know. But every time you accomplish anything, even something as small as a micro action, you got to celebrate it, because this is going to start to reprogram your mind to notice the positive things, the momentum that's working in your favor, which will keep you creating, which will keep you in momentous forward motion. And now that we're nearing the end of the episode, you may be wondering, what's your actionable step this week? I'm going to say this and you're going to be like, duh, create a vision board. Even if it's a really short, simple, and sweet one this year. And if that feels like too much of a task to accomplish, at the very least, sit down and think about what you want to get out of this coming year, out of 2026. Now, if you are really committed and you really want to start 2026 off right, you got to get into my 6-week one-on-one coaching program. Seriously. This is where you're going to get the support and the accountability that you need. This is where you're going to build the foundation that every successful actor needs. This is where you're going to build the momentum that we've been talking about this episode, and where you're going to start getting the results that you've actually been dreaming of. In the first session alone, we start by setting a goal for the entire program so that you have something tangible going out of the 6 weeks. And this isn't just coaching either. You're going to get my signature course, Overcome Self-Sabotage. You're going to get one-on-one Voxer support between sessions. You're going to get a free gift, and honestly, so much more than you can even imagine in your life, in your acting career. But I do have limited spots available right now. Only 6. And this coaching offer is application only. So if you're interested, please visit the show notes to apply. That's a wrap on today's episode of The Glow Up Year. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love having you along for the ride. We're just getting started, and your glow up is only getting brighter. If you felt inspired today, hit subscribe or leave a quick review, or share this episode with another fellow dreamer in your circle. If you want more support, you can work with me one-on-one as your career mindset coach. I'll help you clear out those mental blocks, find balance, and take some bold steps towards your career goals. You'll find all the details to work with me in the show notes. And of course, come hang out with me on Instagram or TikTok at Meg Salisbury Creative for more behind the scenes and pep talks and just fun. Remember, your glow up is unfolding one bold move at a time. Keep going, keep dreaming bigger, and I'll catch you on the next one. Wait. Before you go, if you leave a review, I'd love to offer you a digital copy of my signature workshop, Overcoming Self-Sabotage, for free. It's valued at over $250. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and send it to me in a DM on Instagram at Meg Salisbury Creative to get access. Happy reviewing!